Yeah, I want to do that now.
Yeah, right? Like, I want to do that one shot, and it would just be, like, really geared up for one player, and that's it. Everything's just focused on them. It's like a birthday one shot. Hey, it's your birthday, so you can play a Watcher Paladin, and we're all just going to buff you up while you destroy demons.
Right?
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. If you do this, don't even tell me about it.
Welcome to Monsters Multiclass, your Dungeons & Dragons fix. I'm Kevin Odie.
I'm Jared Bornagle.
And I'm Will Melton.
And we'll be hanging out with you for a while to talk about anything and everything D&D related. On this episode, we are taking a look at the Paladin changes added in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. The bulk of the conversation is going to be the new Sacred Oath on Oath of the Watchers, but there's also a little bit on some new optional class features. We are skipping the other Oath, Oath of Glory, blanked on that, because that's a reprint from another book, and we already talked about it. We'll do the thing. Jared, do your arm wave so I know when I'm scrubbing through to put a card. All right, nice, succinct, clear intro, off to a great start.
All right, well then, let's go ahead and just take a look at some of these new optional class features added in Tasha's. It seems like each class got at least something. Couple, like the Ranger, it's total overhauls. The Paladin, it's on the lighter side, but couple of neat things in here worth talking about. So, to start off, we get some new Paladin spells. Ooh, Paladin spells. I don't know how much of this is actually new, or like expanding it beyond just them condensing it all into one spot to say, hey, these are the Paladin options. I know Spirit Shroud that they get at 3rd level is a Tasha's specific one here. Summon Celestial is as well. But Gentle Repose, Prayer of Healing, and Warding Bond, those are all players' handbook spells, I believe.
Yeah, for the longest time, clerics only had Prayer of Healing. So now Paladins do. It's fitting for them, though I don't know if I'd use it. That's the 10-minute casting time, and you do 2d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. Do 6 creatures within 30 feet.
Yeah.
Healing.
I'm glad that it's on the list. I don't have an issue with it. It's pretty fitting for Paladins, but it's probably only useful if you're like the only healer in the party.
Yeah. Yeah, something to note, these are not spells they just get. They are spells on their list, and Paladins have to pick their known spells.
Right.
So, you're picking this over something else.
Right, but they are prepared casters, so it's not like a
oh,
huge
yeah, they
thing.
are, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, Rangers...
I was thinking they weren't, yeah.
No, Rangers are
Rangers
not.
are just kind of the...
Which makes no sense, because they really got shafted.
Right. So, yeah, not a huge deal.
But I do like Spirit Shroud a lot. I know we talked about this in our spell coverage, because we had an entire episode that covered spells. Yeah, there we go. Going to have like 2 or 3 more of those for this episode, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't remember talking about it, which I'm not sure if it's just my goldfish-like memory or if we somehow skipped it. I'm pretty sure it's the goldfish one, though. And it's really good.
Yeah.
And it seems super...
We're usually pretty thorough.
Yeah, it seems really, really good for Paladins specifically. Because any attack you
want
make...
to explain it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you've got it up on the screen now, so who cares? Yeah. So this is the one where it's concentration, bonus action to cast, which is always nice. 3rd level, so pretty high up there for Paladins to get. But until the spell ends, any attack you make deals 1d8 extra damage when you hit a creature within 10 feet of you. Its damage is either radiant, necrotic, or cold, your choice. And then any creature that takes this damage can't regain HP until the start of your next turn. In addition, any creature of your choice that you can see that starts its turn within 10 feet of you has its speed reduced by 10 until the start of your next turn. So it is a concentration spell, which is, I guess, I won't even say a limitation. It's not like Paladins are concentrating on much else. But this seems like... Right. I mean, much better. The other options class-wise are Cleric, Warlock, and Wizard, but this seems like it was made for the Paladin.
Absolutely. I can see, since it's just a bonus action to cast, if it was a full action, I don't know how well it would be, how much it would be worth it, except for like the really big fights that be going on for a while. But yeah, bonus action, for sure. Yeah, just free 1d8. Any attack, right? If this is not once per turn.
No, yeah. So if they have 2 attacks,
so yeah, each turn that's 2d8. What
it's
is
a lot
3rd
like
level?
Hex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a major limitation being 10 feet away from you.
Right,
but
but
Paladin,
But removing the limitation of it being on one creature. Hex is just one enemy that you can focus down really well, whereas Paladins, it's just, hey, if they're near you, there you go. And I think the 10 feet was definitely intentional, because they could have gone with 5, but the 10 allows you to have a reach build.
Yeah. Pole arms, yeah.
Which would be super annoying.
whips.
Yes.
Whips as well, yes.
So yeah, if you were just cast a 3rd level smite, that's what, 4d8?
Yes.
So it's 2d8 for first level plus 1d8 for each, so yeah. Second level's 3d8. So 2 turns, you match it.
Yeah. That's what I consider pretty worthwhile. And you always got to consider that with Paladin spells.
With Paladins,
like,
yeah.
Is this better than me getting a smite? And in this case, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
The concentration could be an issue because you aren't good at that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I think it only needing 2 turns, I'll say 4 hits, in order to equal a 3rd level smite makes it pretty worthwhile. And even better, this damage would also crit. And you could still throw smites on top of it. So it's not like it's preventing you from doing smites. So if you get a crit with this, you're getting an extra 2d8 damage. It's, again, this feels like it was made for Paladins.
Yes.
So definitely a good addition. Next up, past the spells, because I don't think we need to talk about Summon Celestial. You get it at 5th level.
Again, yeah.
Nobody gets that anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Is that 17th level Paladin, I think?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So there are some fighting style options the Paladins get. First one is brand new and specific to the Paladin, Blessed Warrior. So they can learn 2 cantrips of their choice from the Cleric spell list. They count as Paladin spells for you, and Charisma is your spellcasting ability for these spells. And when you gain a level in this class, you can replace one of the cantrips with another cantrip from the Cleric spell list.
I like this as an option for certain character concepts. You know, it doesn't work for all of them because obviously you're losing some martial prowess with this, but Paladins don't get cantrips.
Yeah.
Like, at all. So here's some cantrips, and the Clerics got a decent amount.
Definitely. They have good cantrips.
Some good versatility.
They have good damage cantrips. The Rangers have an equivalent of this where it's, I think, Druidic Warrior or something along those lines. And
that sounds right.
Druids have like 1 damage cantrip, maybe 2. It's not too great in comparison. So being able to get Toll the Dead or Sacred Flame as a Paladin just gives you range that you otherwise do not have. So honestly, I think this competes as one of the better fighting style options for Paladin, because in general, they don't have anything that's, I guess, too crazy, in my opinion. Nothing that I look at and I go, oh, that's necessary to take. This, it's still not necessary, but it very much adds where Paladins lack, and that is with range.
Right.
Where the other ones just kind of increase what they're already good at.
Yeah, so you could take like Toll the Dead and then get guidance. So a support and an offensive, or plenty of options. If you went that route, it's always that tricky thing with Paladins of like, do I raise strength or charisma?
Yeah.
And that would, I think, really sway it towards charisma.
Yeah, and I'm always glad that Paladins have that push and pull, because otherwise they're just good at everything. Like, they're truly one of the strongest classes, so the fact that they have to at least deal with 2 ability scores makes it, like, a little bit more okay. If it was easy to just be like, oh yeah, you know, I don't actually need strength, my attacks are charisma based, it would be like, this is the dumbest class ever.
Yeah, no, that's why, Hexblade dip.
Oh, right, the dumbest class ever. Man, I got into an argument on the internet with somebody about the undead warlock. I know, it never does. About the undead warlock, and they basically said, like, it's a bad subclass because it isn't as good as Hexblade. And, like, if we started comparing every class to Hexblade, then the power creep would be outrageous.
Yes.
That's nothing to do with this Paladin episode, but sorry. But yeah, one level into Warlock, you could still get your Blessed Warrior, get some Cleric spells or cantrips, get your...
At that point, though, why does it matter? Warlocks get cantrips.
That's true. All right, so then next we have blind fighting as a fighting style. We've already talked about this one in I believe the Ranger episode, if not the Fighter one. So I don't know. Oh, that's right. Hey, Ranger and Fighter one. Put them both up there, Kevin. Same with Interception. So both of these fighting styles. They're not new. We talk about them in the Fighter.
Yeah. Well,
they are new to
this
Tasha's.
book.
Yes.
And it just happens to be the order we went.
Yes. Sorry. It is not new to the podcast. So
there you go.
They also don't change anything for the Paladin. It's not like they're specifically better or worse. For the same reasons that blind fighting is very situational and probably not a great fighting style unless it fits your character concept for a fighter. Same thing with the Paladin.
Yep. It gives you blind sight for 10 feet.
Though,
which could be neat.
Justice is blind?
Pretty limited. But it's a very viable option if you do want to play a blind character.
Yeah.
So, which could be interesting.
Yeah, and then Interception is the one where when a creature you can see hits a target other than you within 5 feet of you with an attack, you can use reaction to reduce the damage the target takes by 1d10 plus your proficiency bonus. And you must be wielding a shield or a symbol or martial weapon to use this reaction.
Which could be very fitting for a Paladin.
Yeah, if you're going that protector route.
Right, yeah, you take this instead of... I think the other fighting style is literally called Protector.
Yes. Where
you
you impose disadvantage on an attack.
Protection, yeah. You have to have a shield, and then you can impose disadvantage. This one just, the attack hits, but you reduce damage. And I think we went into way too much detail about it, kind of like going back and forth based on level and what's better and what's not. And this one does not need a shield, so
yeah,
you can do this with a greatsword or a battle axe.
Yeah, so if you want to hear us talk a ton about that, check out the Fighter episode.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to do it again because we already linked it.
The first one was Ranger for blind sight.
Oh, well, you said Fighter and Ranger. All right, I'll just delay them.
Okay. Anyways, next up, a third level feature is Harness Divine Power. So this actually comes off of a UA that we've been using at the table for a little while now. And it was as simple as, I believe, if you have a Channel Divinity on a short rest, or maybe you can just expend a Channel Divinity.
As a bonus action.
Yeah, and you can get a first level spell back. So this changes it up a little bit. So it's when you can expend a use of your Channel Divinity to fuel your spells. As a bonus action, you touch your holy symbol, utter a prayer, and regain one expended spell slot, the level of which can be no higher than half your proficiency bonus rounded up. And you can do this a number of times. Well, the number of times you can use this feature is based on the level you've reached in the class. At third level, you can do it once, 7th twice, 15th thrice. Ooh, don't get to see thrice used that often.
No, that's exciting. I missed that on the first read. I auto-corrected it to 3 times.
And you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Now, do keep in mind that Paladins only get 1 Channel Divinity per short rest. That does not go up, I believe. I checked like 6 times. Clerics, it goes up, but Paladins just get 1. On a short rest, though, you can do this again. So if you have a lot of short rests in your game, this could be extremely useful. Really, overall, this is pretty strong. The fact that it's half your proficiency bonus rounded up means you're getting a lot of spell slots back. Maybe not a ton, and it's like a buff to some of these Paladin classes that have really bad Channel Divinities, because some of them just suck. And having an extra use of Smite makes you compete a little bit better with some of the classes that have some more longevity and less Nova.
For sure. Yeah, it's nice to, in your back pocket, even if you have one of the subclasses that have a really good one, like Vengeance, where you do get an advantage for a minute. There will be times you just don't use it, and all of a sudden you're getting a short rest. It's like, oh, I didn't use it, but I smited a bit. There we go. Right. Use it right before your short rest, get some spell slots back, get your Channel Divinity back. It's definitely just an overall boost to a class that I don't know if it really needs it.
And that's
but if I'm a Paladin, I'm going to use it because it's great.
That's where I was about to go, is that I'm actually not sure This is the first optional rule that I've read that I'm really not sure if I like it. I like it because it's strong and it feels good. And as I said, it's a buff to those paladin classes that might not have a great channel divinity. But you know what? It can be a lot. A second or third level spell. What we're doing right now, where it just restores a first level spell, has felt like plenty to me. I don't think anyone once has been like, oh man, going into a short rest, and I only get a first level spell back. I mean, that's still good. It's something.
Right.
So I'm not really chomping at the bits to add this one to our game, though I'm open for debate.
Right. So it's rounded up, so... Oh, at what point would you be able to do a second level spell?
Fifth.
I can never remember. So
5th level, you get your +3 proficiency.
Yeah.
That's really
and
early.
then when she hits 7th, you could do that twice per long rest. Because that's
right.
Yeah.
So that's 2 second level spells back. And then at 9th, it stays the same. So for the most part, you're getting 2 second level spells back for, I'll say, most play.
That's pretty good. Okay, I wanted to compare it to Arcane Recovery. Which I guess is more. The Arcane Recovery is half your wizard level.
Ooh.
Rounded up. Lizard level, yeah. Yeah, wizard level, rounded up, which does go up faster than proficiency bonus, though.
Much
I was about to say, I thought it was something else, and I was about to say it's even better than the wizard's recovery, which is insane, but it is not.
Don't go throwing around claims like that. That's how we lose listeners, Kevin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty good. I would definitely, I don't know. I have to be convinced because I just don't think it's necessary.
It does not need the boost. I think you're right.
No.
I like the way it was.
Just first level. You get a first level spell slot. Yeah. Once per long rest.
Or even rounded down would actually fix this a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's like you're only getting a second level spell at, I think 9th level is when you get to +4 proficiency bonus. And that I'm a little bit more open to. That sounds like a perfectly good time to get a second level spell back. But 5th level, being able to get at least 1 second level spell per long rest, Now, you could argue that
that's the first time you get a second level spell as a paladin.
It's 5th level.
You only have first until 5th, yeah.
Right.
Which is like a big power jump.
Right.
So it's already a bigger power jump.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, yeah.
Now, there is the argument the way we're doing it at our table right now, which I don't even remember the wording of the UA, but what we've been doing is that if you have a channel divinity, you can expend it for a first level spell slot. This does limit it in a different way because you can only do it 1 or 2 times a day until 15th, when you can do it thrice per day. Which again is going to take a while to get to. Right. So I'm sure there's some pros and cons, and somebody could argue one way or the other that it doesn't change that much, or the way that we're doing it is more broken. But for now,
they would be incorrect.
It'd probably be incorrect. But for now, I'm thinking I'm just keeping it where it's at.
The way we do it is, I guess, more open to abuse.
Yeah.
Where we just do short rest after short rest after short rest. But we just don't do that.
No.
We kind of try and keep short rest logical.
Right.
Like when it would make sense, and yeah.
Right. And also, I mean, if you were doing that, you still are limited by how many first level spell slots you can have.
Right.
So, it loses steam after probably realistically 2 short rests. Unless you're out of first level spell slots, in which case, okay, we can get way too into it, but you're probably at the point where it's time for a long rest anyways if you're totally out of spell slots.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. Anyways, let's move on, unless there's anything more to say on that one.
No.
Martial versatility. We have also talked about this one in just about every single episode with a martial character in Tasha's. Nothing too special, just when you reach a level in this class that grants the ability score improvement feature, you can replace a fighting style with another fighting style available to paladins. So, gives you some martial versatility, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I have nothing to say on those.
There's not much more to say.
Yes, it's a codified change. I think most teams would allow it anyways, but in like Adventure League setting or whatever, here's a formal way to do it.
Yep. All right. So that is all of the Paladin optional class features. Again, nothing too crazy, but, hey, more options. Everybody likes those. So now we get to the Oath of the Watchers. So what are the Oath of the Watchers? Because the name itself doesn't really, tell you too much about this subclass. So as far as I understand, they are the Watchers of extraplanar beings and protectors of this current plane, which I guess would normally be the material plane, against these extraplanar beings. Not really specific as to which ones, it's just kind of the whole of them. Celestial, fiends, elementals, all of them.
Undead.
Undead's actually not on there.
Isn't it?
It's actually pretty strictly not undead. Because all of the abilities they get are just...
Aberration, Celestial, Elemental, Fey, or Fiend. You're right. Okay, it's missing undead.
Yeah. So I don't really get much from the flavor of this, like, right out the bat, because it feels like this could have been accomplished by many other Paladin subclasses.
Yeah.
Oath of the Ancients, kind of. Oath of Devotion, definitely, because that's just, like, covers everything, really.
Right.
Isn't that the problem with all of these subclasses? The overlaps just like... It's like a very tight Venn diagram.
It is. I've always, definitely felt that way about Paladin subclasses.
Yeah.
A lot of...
Like, we even look at their tenets of the Watchers. Vigilance, loyalty, discipline. Apply that to literally any other Paladin subclass, and you're going to be hard-pressed to fall outside of... Yeah, that works.
Right.
You could shuffle the flavor text of like the entire chapter and people would not probably notice for months.
Right. So, I'll say that I'm in a book that has really stepped outside of the pre-established lore for a lot of these classes. I don't feel like this one really pushes the boundaries in any way. And for that reason, I'm disappointed. But it's not like this is bad flavor. It's just not very evocative. Evocative? Where do you put the emphasis there? All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I am with you on that. It doesn't give you a whole lot to go off of. No, and from a bigger issue, and this could probably be argued for Paladins as a whole, is that it seems very specifically goal-oriented on one thing. And that is protecting the world from these extraplanar beings. Now, if you're just dealing with like a city's problems that have nothing to do with things coming in from portals and causing problems, there's going to be a lot of that. Why does my Paladin care about this? When this is the one thing they care about. Again, that can be argued for a lot of Paladins. I think this will work extremely well in a calamity campaign, as I call them, just where one big event is happening and every single thing you do revolves around stopping that event. Great. This Paladin's going to be perfectly fit. You don't even need other backstory. You've got it. But for like the type of campaigns I like to run that are very just generic character based, I don't know how this would fit. Yeah, that's tough.
So I
mean, third level and I don't know where to go.
Unless there's some like, in the past, my family was, wiped out by elementals. And so and that's Oath of Vengeance. That's just Oath of Vengeance. So does it need to be the Oath of the Watchers?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be you're an adventurer because you're part of this... You've taken the Oath of the Watchers, and let's say it's this organization in the realm or something like that. And you're not constantly under threat, but you always need to be vigilant. And so you take up adventuring with an adventuring party to hone your skills, earn a living, help people, because you're Paladin or just whatever your character is. You're probably still okay to just go around and help people. And then keep an eye out for the type of threats that the Watchers watch for.
Okay, so it's like a background thing, despite it being the thing you've sworn an oath to, and it being like
Yeah.
This is why Paladins suck so bad. I hate them so much. It's like, oh, all I care about is X. The story's not going towards X. I'm going home. How about the oath of being an adventurer? That would be a nice one.
That's kind of Oath of Glory.
A little bit.
I mean, that could totally be argued. It's like, why are you doing this? Because it's awesome. Because I want to be cool, and this is cool.
Yeah, like say like an Oath of Wonderlust or something.
Sure. Also fine.
That is way too whimsical for a Paladin.
It is, but that's kind of what I'm saying is that we're at the point where we're seeing a lot of subclasses come out that are interesting because they reject the initial flavor of the class. Wild Magic Barbarian, the Spirit Shroud Bard. These are things that spit in the face of what it means to be those classes. Where is that for the Paladin? I'm wanting it. I'm needing it. Besides the Oath of... What's the evil one? It doesn't matter. That's
Breaker.
Conquest.
The Oath of Breakers.
The Oath of Breakers.
Oh, yeah.
The Oath of Circuit Breakers?
Yeah, Oath Breakers, yeah. The Oath Breaker.
Yeah. So, okay, that one spits in the face of Paladins, but not in a way that is useful at the table.
You're just like devoted to like opposite of Paladin stuff, which is like the photo negative. It's not really a version.
Right. All right, so then next up, we've got the new Oath spells. So reminder that for Paladins, when they get Oath spells, these are constantly prepared. They don't count against their amount of prepared spells. They just have them at all times. So at 3rd level, we've got Alarm and Detect Magic. 5th, Moonbeam and See Invisibility. 9th, Counterspell and Non-Detection. 13th, Aura of Purity and Banishment, and then 17th, Hold Monster and Scrying. Pretty strong list.
Yeah, since you just automatically get them, they would definitely have their uses. It's nice to see Moonbeam leaving Druids.
Definitely. Love me some Moonbeam. I don't...
Yeah. Oh, apparently Oath of the Ancients get that too, but...
Okay, Moonbeam is the one that you can move as a bonus action, right?
I think, yeah.
Or can you move it at all? I forget. On each of your turns, you can use an action. Okay,
this is why it sucks, and it's why you've never seen me use it.
I thought it was just because you're against fun spells.
It's not fun. There's nothing fun about Moonbeam.
Okay, that's actually a pretty tough sell for the Paladin.
It is, yeah.
You have some really good uses for your actions as a Paladin. Let me tell you.
Namely 1, swinging. 2, smiting. I mean, I'll say that, I guess really until, I take it back a little bit then, because Moonbeam's just not great. Counterspell is really nice to have on the list, but that's at 9th level. Mm-hmm. It takes a little bit to get to. Alarm at 3rd level, I don't care. I don't know why Alarm has to show its head and like every single class as if it's just this amazing spell. I'm not using a spell slot to cast Alarm. I'll use a ritual. That's fine. But I am not casting a 1st level spell to get an Alarm out.
I don't know. If no one else has it,
then just be surprised. Just be surprised. Save the 1st level spell slot because you know what it would have been better for? Smiting whatever tries to kill you.
I would rather go to bed with a 1st level spell slot than waste it on Alarm, buddy.
Right.
Detect Magic definitely falls into that school of when it's useful, you're going to be super glad you have it. So that's a big plus to always be prepared.
Hold Monster's great, but you don't get it till 17th, so same as Scrying.
Yeah, I don't really think I'd ever... Scrying just seems kind of weird to be on that list, because I don't see how it falls under protecting against extraplanar beings, unlike Banishment. Banishment, I know why that's there. That makes sense. Or Purity, I know why that's there. Moonbeam even, because that takes away shapeshifters.
You got to scry to find the guy to banish.
I thought you were going to go for a rhyme there. You got to scry
not the rhyming
to
guy.
find the guy. Who's the rhyming guy? Is Kevin?
I think it's Kevin.
Kevin's the rhyming guy?
I'm the rhyming guy? Oh boy. That's a lot of pressure.
You got to rhyme something with pressure now.
That's a tough one.
Well,
I give you like soft line. Will you count lesser?
No, I would have counted measure though.
Pressure and measure
as a near rhyme. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have counted
this. All right.
This is why you're not the rhyme guy. Never mind.
No.
I'm the rhyme guy. I'll take it.
All right.
Hope I can make it. Channel Divinity is at 3rd level.
Fresher.
Fresher. It
like phonetically it sounds like it rhymes. Spelling wise it doesn't, but fresher and pressure.
Yeah. So any
yes, okay.
Any sures will work.
Yeah.
Channel Divinity. At 3rd level, they get their unique Channel Divinity abilities. They get 2, actually, Watcher's Will and Abjure the Extraplanar. I guess they always get 2. I just think most of the time it's Turn Undead for the other one when they don't have any other ideas. So
it varies a lot.
Yeah. So Watcher's Will is you can use your Channel Divinity to invest your presence with the warding power of your faith. As an action, you can choose a number of creatures you can see within 30 feet of you, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier, for 1 minute, and you and the chosen creatures have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws.
The action for me kills this.
Or
the 1 minute duration. It could be like, I see it do an hour and it taking an action, or being 1 minute and being either a bonus action or even a reaction to you or someone within 30 feet having to make one of these saving throws.
Okay, all right. What if I told you this was a 2nd level cleric spell that didn't require concentration? Would you look at this and say that it's worthless?
I never said the word's worthless.
Okay, that it's not good. If it took 1 action, you still think it wouldn't be worth it? Because I feel like those 3, charisma, wisdom, and intelligence saving throws, are the worst to fail.
I agree, and the type of things that the Watcher watches out for are the ones that will force those. It's just, a lot of times it happens at the start of combat, and maybe there's one really nasty effect that goes off, and that's it, and then you miss it.
Yeah, I guess that kind of depends.
I think there's enough situations that aren't like that where it's going to keep coming up, that this is very good but very situational.
Yeah, and reminder that it is, you choose the creatures up to 30 feet, and then from there you don't have to stay within 30 feet. So if you're casting this first round, which a lot of times you might be getting into positioning anyways, I'm not going to say that you don't have a use for your action, because there's always a good use for your action. But I could see thinking this is going to be worthwhile to have, and getting everybody in the party advantage on these saves is going to be worthwhile. Because how many spells are there that even if you fail the first one, let's say, I think Hold Person falls under this. Do you get to make a second save for Hold Person? Mm-hmm. Okay, so even if you fail the first one, having advantage on the second one, the third one, the fourth one, hopefully not that many, but the point is for the people who suck with wisdom, charisma, and intelligence, a lot of the party, at least for some of those, having advantage on every single one of those saves, I don't know. I could see it getting worth or use.
I just struggle with the action, because you know what else you could do with that action? Go and smite the creature who's concentrating on those spells for 40 damage and force a DC 20 con check.
If it's a spell, yeah. A lot of times the aberrations effects, or just a lot of monster effects.
It's not always concentration.
Yeah. But you're not wrong. I mean, maybe it's a little more situational than would be nice, but I see intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, and that scares me, because those are really the worst ones to fail.
No, absolutely. I'm just worried this will be one you see and you're like, all right, I'm really excited to use this, and you get in combat and you're thinking, no, I don't think it's going to come up. I'm not going to use my action. This doesn't look like a spellcaster. And then it comes up. It's like, rats, I missed it. And then next time, okay, that's not going to happen again. Oh, I rolled high in initiative. I cast it. And then, it just doesn't come up. Sure. I see a lot of that happening.
Sure. Yeah, and then maybe this is somewhat up to the player DM relation for the player to start it off and say, hey DM, do I know anything about this creature? Would I anticipate, saves coming into play for whatever way you want to phrase it? Because there's always going to be stories of, oh yeah, and then the creature, charmed them or did this or that, or, so maybe you're
That's
not wasting
true.
it.
Well, Arcana checks, history checks,
nature checks,
things like
Sometimes
that. Yeah,
it's just obvious.
Sometimes it's just
dragon
obvious.
fight. You're gonna have your fear effect.
Man, I would actually put dragon fights as the worst time for that, because they just do their one-time fear effect and then you're immune to it.
Right.
Which is always just dumb, but
yeah, I'd rather save
Until
the
you're
channel
not
divinity
immune
to give me back spell slots to smite again.
Yeah, and Will does have a good point there where he said, you're immune to it unless you fail for 5 turns. I could easily see the first turn a couple of people fail, and you go, okay, they're going to have to keep making that save. Let's at least give them advantage on it. This is definitely going to be worth giving advantage for.
Yeah.
So, and that's all right, because there is another use of Channel Divinity. So this doesn't need to be the one that is used in every single combat.
Right.
I don't remember what this one is, so maybe I'm going to put my own foot in my mouth.
Well,
but
not every combat,
yeah.
But it's definitely not bad.
But we get Abjure the Extraplanar. You can use your Channel Divinity to castigate unworldly beings. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature's turn for 1 minute or until it takes damage. So it has to spend its turn trying to run away from you as far as possible. This is basically turn undead for extraplanar beings.
Yeah. I think one of the clerics get one of these. I think Nature Domain.
Oh, really?
Nope, that's Charm Animal and Plants.
Okay, I thought you were going to say...
I could have swore I saw this elsewhere.
I thought you were going to say that. I could have swore clerics get turn undead. Yes, they all do.
Yeah, yes. Oh, Arcana Domain. Arcane Abjuration. Oh, it banishes... Oh, okay. Yeah, there's the cleric one, Arcane Domain. They basically get this Celestials, Elemental, Fey, or Fiend within 30 feet. Yeah, they're turned. But then they also get the chance to banish them, just like Turn Undead.
Oh.
If once you hit a certain level, if they're below a challenge rating, they just die. For these ones, it banishes. So it's a little bit of a weaker version than that.
Which is normal.
But that's fine. Yeah, that's normal for Paladins to not...
Even Paladins Turn Undead never does the auto kill.
No,
yeah,
okay.
So that's perfectly in line with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this comes down to what I said earlier, where in the right campaign, this is awesome. But Aberration, Celestial, Elementals, Fey, or Fiend, I mean, that's a pretty big list, but it's still, I just feel like not really what gets thrown out in like every single combat. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
And is this worth an action?
Yes, on the right fight, absolutely. Yeah, the right fight. I'm just trying to think in our current campaign, the last time we fought one of these.
I'm like really in a pitting you guys against other humanoids mood for like the past 8 months. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's a low magic setting,
right?
Like if we're constantly fighting demons and summon elementals rampaging through the land and things like that, it wouldn't fit with your setting that you made,
right?
You know, which is not fine. It's just I wouldn't want to play this in Piran.
No, I don't think I would recommend it either. Now, Descent into Avernus. Yeah.
Great.
This would be awesome.
I mean, just a paladin would reckon that regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one would be fantastic.
So, yeah, and I just think more and more as we talk about this is just kind of a campaign-specific subclass. It's good in the campaigns where it works, and then it really works. All right, so that's 3rd level. Now, up to 7th level, we get the Aura of the Sentinel. You emit an aura of alertness while you are not incapacitated. When you and any creatures of your choice within 10 feet of you roll initiative, you all gain a bonus to initiative equal to your proficiency bonus. And at 18th level, it increases to 30 feet, like all paladin auras.
Yep. As far as paladin aura goes, I think this one's great.
Yeah.
I always love bonus to initiative, give your whole party based on proficiency.
Can't imagine a setting or a time where you wouldn't be within 10 feet of each other at the start of combat because of this. Having the entire party get an additional, it'll say 3 to up to 6 on their proficiency, on their initiative roll is extremely useful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't tell you how many fights have been ruined by you guys just going first.
Yeah.
It's kind of a problem.
Yeah, like +3 is huge to initiative. Like I'm a Bard Rogue in our campaign, and I have +6 to that, to my initiative, thanks to High Dex and then Jack of all trades boost in that. And that feels crazy. I feel like I'm always really high for the most part and going first, and it's really great. And then like add an additional +3 to that, +9, or get everyone else in that +6 range, because most people will have +2, +1, and that stuff, you know, dex-based ones higher, +4, +5, and just add on to that. That's awesome. Like have your Paladin, who's like stereotypically kind of the laughingstock of initiative, because they are the classes to dump dex, or Paladins,
right? Because
they have strength and charisma to worry about, and Constitution. And so a lot of times they have a negative. Well, now all of a sudden they get a +3 to initiative. Imagine that, a Paladin with +3 to initiative.
I literally can't even imagine it. It's impossible.
No, it's unfathomable. All right, not that good, but it's very good.
Yeah. My only question, or I guess just thing to bring up, is that I feel like it should have been tied to charisma instead of proficiency bonus. I don't have a good reason beyond just, I feel like Tasha's, this entire book is like really obsessed with the proficiency bonus. And this is a pretty strong ability. I don't know if it really matters if it would have been charisma, just beyond it would be like a little bit harder to increase compared to proficiency. You can just take 7 levels in Paladin and then however many levels in everything else. And hey, now you've got this boost to your initiative, and it just keeps going up as your levels go up. And I don't know if that's a problem. It just, I have this weirdness in the pit of my stomach that says maybe this one should have been charisma. I
don't feel strongly either way.
That's not gonna work.
I could fake an opinion.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Right. Let's just let it fizzle. That's fine. The only thing that I'll add to that is that I did go, after having this weird feeling, I went to look at some of the other 7th level Paladin auras, and not a single one of them is tied to charisma. So it would have been starting something new. Not many of them are tied to proficiency either. I don't think any that I saw. I shouldn't say none, because I just don't remember now.
That's new for Tasha's. The proficiency bonus thing barely ever came up.
Right. Okay.
To my knowledge.
Yeah, Oath of Glory. I was just making sure Oath of Glory didn't have that. That's the one that adds movement speed. So, yeah, all of the 7th level ones are kind of all over the place as to what they're adding, but they're usually not a numerical gain tied to a stat, either proficiency or charisma. The other aura that they get that just adds to all saving throws, that one is tied to your charisma. So maybe they didn't want to have 2 things tied to charisma. Maybe it just doesn't matter. And they just said, we're doing proficiency bonus with everything, so let's go proficiency bonus.
I think you might be overthinking it.
I think that's kind of what we do here. So I'm going to give myself a pass.
It definitely gives it more of a sense of scale. If you're like really focusing in on a stat, you could cap it by 8th level.
Right.
You know, where this one's going to continue to go up over the entirety of the character.
Right.
So that's it. Like they don't want +5 at 8th level, you know.
True.
But they're okay with +6 at 17th or whenever you get that.
Yeah.
Can never keep those straight.
I remember up to 9th level.
17th.
And then I forget.
17th. Yeah.
All right. So at 15th level now, jumping ahead, get to Vigilant Rebuke. So you've learned how to chastise anyone who dares wield beguilements against you and your wards. Whenever you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you succeeds on an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma saving throw, you can use reaction to deal 2d8 plus your charisma modifier force damage to the creature that forced the saving throw. I'm actually not super impressed with this one.
I go back and forth. So it's automatic damage. Like they don't get a save or anything, and so automatic damage is always kept low. Within 30 feet, Paladins don't get a lot of range.
Sure.
But it uses your reaction. And Paladins being able to do an opportunity attack is fantastic because they get smite off of that. Right. And so they like get really sticky because like the DM knows to not pull monsters out of their range or enemies out of their range. And if they're using it on this, and then they just absorb, at 15th level, so high challenge rating monsters absorbing 2d8 plus 4 or 5.
Not really what I consider an oppressive amount of damage.
No.
The trash mobs you guys fought recently at like the last session, you guys are level 12. They were challenge rating 3. Each of those creatures had 85 health. We're talking at level 15. Trash mobs have 100 health at this point, which is 10 times the average amount of damage this is going to do. Approximately.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2d, so it's 10 plus potentially 3 or 5. Whatever. Point is, it's not a lot of damage for your reaction.
No. But you also probably not going to get a whole lot of uses to do that. Really great. Let me smite off my opportunity attack reaction. Because again, the DM does know to not... So it's like, all right, here is a use for your reaction.
Sure.
That paladins don't really get.
Sure. And, I'll just say that, yes, it is free damage, so there's only so much to complain about. Where I'm going to come at this is that, do we really need this class to do more damage? Or could it have been something a little bit more interesting at 15th level? Like, was that really where we wanted to take it? Where, and now with your reaction, if this specific scenario comes up, which, Kevin, I'll trap you in this. You already said earlier, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma saves, I mean, they're not extremely common. And, you also have to be within 30 feet and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of a specific scenario, even if not overly specific, and then you do this very little amount of damage. I just feel like this was I want to say lazy feature. It's like, yeah, that works. Give them more damage, and let's move on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm also looking at the other 15th level abilities. They're pretty good. Like Oath of Devotion, you're permanently under the effects of protection from evil and good. This would have actually been fantastic for this current one, Oath of the Watcher, because that is the aberration / shows elementals, fey fiends, and undead, so they could just like strike undead from that.
Sure.
And then that's where all those creatures have disadvantage on attack rolls against you. You can't be charmed or frightened or possessed by them. That's about it. I said that in a trailing manner like I was going to say more, but that's what that spell does.
Yeah. Oath of Vengeance, the creature that you have your Vow of Enmity on, when it makes an attack, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that creature if it's within range. So you get an advantage attack from this.
Yeah.
Probably a lot better.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oath of Redemption, if you end an encounter with less than half your HP, just for free, you regain 1d6 plus your paladin level in HP back.
That one's okay.
Half your paladin level.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you said when you
end your turn. I did misspeak. It's when you end your turn in combat, you get 1d6 plus half your paladin level.
Yeah, that's
it. Doesn't even cost you anything. You just can't be incapacitated.
Yeah, that's 10 HP every turn, basically, if you're under half.
Yeah.
So that's really, yeah. So anyways, Vigilant Rebuke, it's okay. I think it falls into the same line of in the right campaign, it's going to come up all the time, and it's going to be a lot of damage over the course of the campaign, and maybe because of that, it's worthwhile. It does combo well with that Channel Divinity that they have, giving advantage to Wisdom, Intelligence, and Charisma saving throws. So you give advantage, more likely to succeed. If and when they succeed, you can do that 2d8 plus Charisma modifier force damage. So it's not horrible. I'm just not crazy about it. All right, then last ability at 20th level, so you know that this is going to be crazy, like the Oath of Vengeance one where they like sprout wings, right? Is that Oath of Vengeance?
Probably.
Okay, so that's the bar that we have set.
The Venging Angel, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to be able to smite my enemies every single turn. It's got to blow me out of the water, all right? So, as a bonus action, this is Mortal Bulwark. Bulwark, yeah. So you manifest this spark of divine power in defense of the mortal realms. As a bonus action, you gain the following benefits for 1 minute. First off, you gain true sight with a range of 120 feet. All right, that's pretty good for, if you need true sight. I like it.
Like, so True Sight's really strong. It doesn't
is.
really show up for, like, monster stats until higher challenge ratings for the most part. And so when I did see that, I was thinking, wow, that's really great. But then I started trying to think, what scenarios does that matter? If a creature's invisible or if you're in darkness, but if you're a class or a race that has dark vision,
magical darkness?
That much, yeah. And so it's not that it'll never come up. That's just starting to get pretty situational.
Right. Can you be blinded?
No.
Okay. Yeah, and you can also perceive the original form of shapeshifters or creatures.
Yeah.
Say it's a little situational, but it's not bad by any means.
Like automatically detect illusions.
Right. So then next we have advantage on attack rolls against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, and fiends. So advantage against all attack rolls against a specific enemy type. As long as you're facing that enemy type, this is really cool.
Right.
But, I mean, you're probably just fighting regular dudes. You're level 20, just regular dudes in a bar.
You're totally right. And at this point, you're past the point of fighting regular dudes in a bar. So if there is a level to be fighting aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, and fiends, this is probably it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to when you hit a creature with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can also force it to make a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature is magically banished to its native plane of existence if it's not currently there. On a successful save, the creature can't be banished by this feature for 24 hours. So this is really great when you're fighting creatures that don't belong where they are. If you are going to the Nine Hells to fight demons, this actually becomes not very great at all.
Well, the true sight and advantage on the attacks might make it worth it.
It might. But I think this really is a feature that is geared up for one awesome frickin' use per campaign. And when that scenario is set up, because the DM better be setting up this scenario, it is going to be wild. Where the level 20 paladin enters into their mortal barrock and they just go around banishing like CR10 demons like it's nobody's business. And you just got like 10 of them on the field and they're like, nope, we're getting rid of all of these and just wipe them out. They've got their initiative high because their proficiency bonus, their initiative is going to be +6 at this point, as well as everybody else's who starts their turn within 30 feet of them. And they're just going to go absolutely crazy. And then it's probably not going to get used again in any meaningful way. But that one encounter is going to make this worthwhile.
Right. And start with turning them.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. Start with hold up the sword and it glows and you turn them. And as they're fleeing from you chase them down with this on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might make the entire character worth it.
And you spend the entire fight trying to fight these guys when you only have a minute. And then this runs out and they turn around and then they beat the crap out of you.
No, dude, this is when you're getting hasted. Like,
oh, yeah.
Everybody is saying, yep, dump all of your buffs into the paladin. Give them like 6 extra attacks if we can and just let him go crazy. And that's, again, that makes it okay to me because this is almost setting up the DM. Having this class at your table is telling you the final fights at level 20 are going to be Fae, Fiend, Aberration, Celestial, yada, yada, yada. It's going to be based on that, and you need it to be, and it's going to be awesome. But if anybody else has any, tier 4 stuff that they are concerned about and think they're going to get to, not going to happen. The campaign is ending with this paladin shit going crazy.
I like it.
And officially...
Yeah, I want to do that now.
Yeah, right? Like, I want to do that one shot. And it would just be, like, really geared up for one player. And that's it. Everything's just focused on them. It's like a birthday one shot. Hey, it's your birthday, so you can play a Watcher Paladin, and we're all just going to buff you up while you destroy demons.
Right.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. If you do this, don't even tell me about it.
Yeah, because right now everybody's just knocking down your door to tell them about your D&D games. So it does have this ability that once you use it as a bonus action, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a 5th level spell slot to use it again. I just like when that's available. And that seems to be the new trend. I don't think that's going anywhere. All right. So that is the Watcher, the Oath of the Watchers subclass. Closing thoughts? Anything?
Nothing new that we didn't say. Yeah, it feels really, really campaign or adventure specific. You gotta kind of, I guess that's the importance of a session 0 to understand that sort of stuff. And someone to mention, hey, I'm really interested in this. With what you have planned, DM, do you think that would work out?
Right. And realistically speaking, as long as, the DM is open to that type of conversation, which hopefully they are, it becomes, oh, you're interested in that? Great. Let me think of more ways that I can involve these types of things. Because if somebody came to me with this, we said earlier, I've got a low magic setting, so it wouldn't make sense. But if somebody came to me and they said, I want to play an Oath of the Watchers, I think this sounds awesome. I have like 6 different ways that I can include aberrations and demons and devils in my game, and it would not break anything. It would just feel like there's a specific event happening that's loosening the realm or whatever and allowing these types of creatures to enter in. And it'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I see how we got there. But I'm not including it because we don't have that paladin at the table right now.
Right.
So
mechanically, this seems very fun. And these abilities, all with just kind of the base paladin kit, I think would be great. You feel like a very strong, versatile character.
Yeah.
None of these I'm looking at and thinking, other than maybe Watchers of the Will, which is the one where you action to get advantage for a minute, where you would think, oh, that's never coming up. I think all of these would come up. You'd be happy you have them. And even Watchers of the Will at times.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely the type of character that they just have this like heavy, strong feel to them. And every time I get a character like that, I just want to get some dice to go along with it. Like some big metallic dice, maybe like with some cool patterns on them. I feel like red ones, even gemstone dice. I mean, like just go crazy with this. And when I'm looking for new dice, I go to our affiliate, Metallic Dice Games, and use the code MM10 to get 10% off my order. And you should do that too. Kevin, you got to stop smiling when I'm doing the lead up. You're giving it away.
Sorry,
you're giving it away.
You think it's that subtle?
No.
You think I'm the only one who's picking up on it?
No.
That was a good one, though. That was a good lead up.
Thank you. Yeah. And I stand by that because I am the type of person who buys dice for my characters. So
yeah,
it's such an event. I only get to be a player every full moon. Wait, that's once a month. That's not that often.
I was gonna say, that's not bad. Yeah.
But in a campaign,
what's a blue moon?
Blood moon. I don't know.
What's a blood moon? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how frequent those are.
I don't think that's like a scheduled event. I think that's more on atmospheric conditions.
You know what? Screw the metaphors.
I don't know.
Screw the metaphor. I'm not a metaphor guy. I'm the rhyming guy. So I don't have a rhyme for it either. But only once in a while. So I make another character and I throw him on the pile.
Good job.
Do you want to end the episode, Kevin?
You guys do our promotional crap.
Ah, son of a... All right. Well, let me go ahead and do that. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave a 5-star review wherever you can, or a 2-star review or whatever. Just leave a review wherever you can, wherever you get your podcasts. And as usual, thank you so much to our patrons. Got Jeff W., Joe P., Vincent M., Isaac M., Sentinel D20, Star Shinobi, Adam A., and Home Bakery. And if you want to support the show, you can go to monstermulticlass.com/support, where you can find our other affiliates, like Metallic Dice Games, where you can use that code MM10 to get 10% off your order, or Bardley, as well as Describe. Thank you so much, and Kevin, take it away.
Thanks for watching.